Welcome to Cool But Rude, a TMNT rewatch podcast. Today we will be going over Season 3, Episode 8, The Fifth Turtle. Stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm your host, Christopher.
I'm Rob.
That doesn't work. I'm not used to you being
Mind doing
Rob.
that over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's Rob?
So people call me everything. People call me every version of Robert. The only one I really kind of don't like is Robbie.
Mm.
Some people at work, for some reason, just thought that was what I go by, and there are 2 or 3 people that call me that.
Wow.
That's their go-to?
And like, that's just what, because that's what they, for some reason, that's what they think, that's what they thought like I preferred to go by. And so that's just what they call it. And, I don't really like correcting people because I don't really care, but it's the only one that I ever hear that just kind of makes me twinge a tiny bit.
Damn.
Guess you're Robbie from now on. Does anybody ever call you Bob?
Yes, mostly friends from college and high school who did it as a joke, and then it just stuck.
Wow.
Like they were like, "Oh, that'd be funny if you went by Bob," and then they just started doing it, and then it like never went away.
Wow. That's a bad joke.
But even that, I don't mind as much as Robbie.
See, Bob to me would be the worst.
That's like an old man name.
Yeah. I just immediately think Bob Hope.
I think Bob Newhart, and they're both old as fuck. So,
wow.
Would you rather go by? So you would rather go by Robbie than Bob?
Yeah, I think so.
I think what makes it not as bad is whenever they say it, like I know they're kind of saying it just because it sounds funny.
Mm.
Whenever anybody calls me that.
It just feels wrong. Doesn't sound or feel right coming out of my mouth.
No.
One time, like a long time ago, I was in a class very early in the course, and we had our teacher was handing us back some tests that we took, and he was just calling. He doesn't know anybody's names. Like nobody knows anybody's names. Basically, he's just looking at the test, yelling out the first name, and like looking for who that person is to come grab it. And he was like, handing it to this person, that person. Then he pulls the test out. He goes, Roberto.
Wow.
And Roberto is a kind of a name that people more jokingly than Bob, even like kind of like it's like a joke version that people will say as my name, just joking around.
Yes.
And so I thought he was calling me. And so I like grabbed it, but it was actually a guy behind. It was actually a Hispanic guy sitting behind me whose name was actually Roberto. And so I was like, oh, here you go. This one's yours. And when I handed it to him, so I heard some guy like sitting really close to me goes, "There's 2 Robertos."
I just thought you like culturally appropriated his name. So
yeah.
No, this is mine too.
This is
Always
mine
taking
too.
stuff from people.
Yeah. Wow.
I can relate to that as far as people were saying Roberto has a kind of a rib, because I get called Miguel quite often by several people in my family.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What's the Spanish version of Christopher?
Cristobal. Nobody calls me that, by the way.
That sounds cool.
Thank you. But nobody calls me that.
Fancy piece of trash.
I get Christoph sometimes from
Christoph?
Yeah.
Christoph? That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's I don't know. I mean, I got lucky with Christopher, so that's why I like cherish it so much. I fucking like Gollum, my precious. Like, don't change it. Don't shorten it. That's why I always get like I am willing to correct people a lot of times, unless you're like grandfathered in from a period where I didn't care. But
Oh, the Chris versus Christopher.
Yeah. Or it's
Yeah,
just like if I've known people,
I'm guilty of that.
like if I just keep people I grew up with and stuff like that, where it's just like I knew you for 20 years, and then I became an asshole and started making everybody call me Christopher. You get a pass.
Another thing is when people call me Rob, most of the time they're not. It's kind of a weird distinction that I've learned as far as nicknames go. They're not really. They're saying it purely because it's an easier way to say Robert, and it just takes less time. It's not like so much a nickname as it is. I mean, I know there's a very fine line here. They're not saying that as like a different name. They're saying it as like, I don't feel like saying your whole name, Robert, so I'm just going to say Rob real quick. But I'm not like calling you Rob. I don't know. I can't really explain it, but
Oh
it's
no,
just kind of some.
I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
I totally get it. Now, well, Mike hasn't introduced himself this episode yet, so
I have no name.
Oh, okay. We've reducted into that. That's cool. Now, Mike, though, how do you feel about variants of that? Because like, there's Mickey,
Nope.
there's Mikey, there's
Nope.
all that.
Mickey.
All right,
Don't
yeah,
like any of those.
I mean, I always feel like they're so like juvenile. Not to knock anybody that goes by Mickey or Mikey, but it just sounds very.
Or
That's
Mick.
Mick, yeah. Well, Mickey was like the guy was from Burgess Meredith from Rocky, but still, that's old school.
No, it's either Mike or Michael. I mean, people do call me Mikey, and it's usually women that affectionate Mikey. I don't care for it very much,
Nice.
but
Yeah,
I don't. I'm kind of like Robert. I don't really correct people that much unless you call me like Matt or Mark
Wow,
or Mitch.
totally wrong name. Like,
Mitch.
The whole wrong name. Yeah, no.
see, I wouldn't even try to do that if I didn't. Like, I'm guilty of being like, "Hey, guy."
Yeah.
Like, I won't even try to like call you some BS name. I'll be like, "Nah,
Yes.
just understand. I don't remember your name. I'm sorry."
Quick Mickey story. There was an advisor when I was in college a while back. People kept telling me I needed to go talk to this advisor. It wasn't an advisor. I'm sorry. He was like a, forgot what you call him, but he was like a kind of a career placement guy that kind of helps put you in touch with companies who are hiring this kind of stuff. Anyway, everybody who told me to, every administrative person who told me, hey, you need to go talk to him, they always say, you need to go talk to Mickey G. I was like, why is everybody calling him this? Like, it's so weird
Is he
to
a
be
rapper?
calling this guy Mickey G. Well, the reason they are calling him Mickey G because his last name is literally G. It's G-E-E, but it's pronounced G. So they weren't, it wasn't like, I was like, thought everybody was just, yeah, exactly. Just calling him like by his rapper name. But no, they were just calling him by his actual name.
Go see Mickey's G, man.
Yeah, he'll
He
get
gonna
the
hook
stuff.
you up.
Yeah, exactly. Mickey G, the man.
All right.
What do you got for us today?
We have the fifth turtle this time around. Are you guys ready for the rundown?
I miss the power rankings. I'm sad that there isn't one.
Already,
Yes.
yeah. Well, we got something to add to it.
I got some good news for you. Yeah, got some good news for you.
We got two lists to update this week, actually, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
One of them made me want to like carve my eyes out.
Well, here we go. We'll get to that. So once again, this is the fifth turtle. Donatello and Raphael are out for pizza when they encounter a group of thugs looking to mug them. Before they can take them on, however, a 14-year-old kid named Zach jumps between them, proclaims himself to be, quote, a master ninja turtle, the scourge of evildoers, and tries to fight them off. He fails, but Raphael and Donatello are able to take them out. Afterward, Zach introduces himself and asks to join the turtles, but Don and Raph refuse his request. In the Technodrome, Krang is preparing to use the upcoming planetary alignment of Earth, the Moon, and Mars to power the Technodrome in another attempt to escape the Earth's core. To do this, he requires Shredder to steal some capsidium crystals, which will be powered by the light from the alignment and produce large amounts of energy. Later, Zack joins in on the Turtles' attempt to stop Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady's theft of the capsidium crystals, and he's then able to track them to their hideout. After doing so, Splinter welcomes him in, admiring his ability to track the Turtles, and the Turtles soon accept him as a friend. Zack is eventually kidnapped by Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady and kept hostage so that the Turtles won't interrupt their use of the crystals during the planetary alignment. But once all 5 of them are tied up by Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady, Zack is able to free himself and the captured turtles with Raphael's turtlecom, which he was able to use to produce a high-pitched sound that shatters the crystals, foiling Krang's plan. In a final farewell, Zack vows to make a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan club, and the Turtles thank him for his help by making him an honorary turtle and giving him his own turtlecom.
I thought this was a very cool episode. I liked it.
I'm surprised. I didn't think you would like this one. I did too. But I didn't think you would.
Wow. Yeah. No, I would agree. I was like reticent, but
It's a big word.
I once I was watching it and like I just like the whole vibe, like just from the get go, like when the turtles are, they interrupt Donatello's thing. He's like doing his research that, it kind of was like, planting a seed, for something that's going to be more important later. And they're like, nah, like that's great. That's but we need pizza. We need cheese for the pizza. So it's like I thought right from the get go, I was like, all right, I like the tone of this.
I kind of actually agree. Like just in general, this had the kind of the overall feel that I like in a Ninja Turtles episode. Like that, and the feel and the look of it, the animation was good, the coloring was good, the just everything about it was like this is what I want to sit back and relax and watch.
Yeah, this is definitely a good Saturday morning cartoon episode. Just I kind of like, I don't know, to me the turtles throughout the episode kind of had like a chip on their shoulder, like a vibe. They're like, they know they're badass. Maybe it's because they were trying to show this kid what's up, but like the entire thing, like even when they're talking to each other, they got attitude. I was like, ooh, I like this. But yeah, like from the get go, like they go up and Donatello's like, fine, I'll go to the all night market, but Raphael, you're coming with me, which is like my favorite pairing. I always like it when it's Raphael and Donatello. But yeah, and then like I don't know, it's just a cool dynamic because like I was thinking about it, and if you look at the turtles, each one of them kind of represent a sort of like clique or group in like from high school. Like Raphael could be like the jocks, yeah. Like Donatello's like the nerds. Leonardo would be like the popular kids, like like class president or something. And then class clown is like Michelangelo.
Yeah,
that's I'd never thought about it that way. Did you guys notice? So first off, we have a return of the creepy masks.
Mm-hmm.
Which those two wear to go out and get pizza. There are a couple weird things happen, however. I bet you guys noticed at least the second of these. They go in and get their pizza. They walk out not wearing the masks anymore.
I thought they took them off as soon as they walked out.
Did they take them off after they walked out? Because I thought they walked out with no masks on.
I thought they walked out and then they were like, let's go down the alley, and they take their mask off or something like that.
Okay, maybe I missed that. But then they're wearing no mask, like no, not even their normal turtle mask. They just have the little beanies on that they wear sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's right. That looks weird.
And then this group of guys comes up to mug them or whatever, and they rip. So they're wearing kind of like more or less everyday people clothing or kind of like worker clothing. They're getting ready to fight, so they rip off that stuff so they can be in their normal just nothing, I guess. But when they do that, they suddenly have their usual masks on. They basically rip on their ninja masks.
I didn't notice it at first. I read exactly that on Turtlepedia because I was looking through there, like
oh really?
Yeah, and they mentioned that, and then I went back and looked. Yeah, sure enough, just appears on their faces.
That's cool. Notice until you pointed it out. Yeah. One of those guys that's like jacking him and like or trying to whatever. He looks like a seriously tanned Richard Nixon.
Wow.
Okay. yeah. I thought with the of course the nose is the thing.
I was just like, what the heck?
Nice.
But yeah, it was a good like fight scene though. I thought it was cool. But like right before it started, the fight scene pops off. We have this newcomer enters the fray.
Yes, Zack, the 5th Ninja Turtle.
The neutrino.
No. Don't get confused, Mike.
Like, couldn't they have used a different name? Yeah. They already got a Zack.
I forgot that there was a neutrino Zack.
Well, yeah, when I heard Zack, I was like when you showed that toy earlier, Zack and Smash, I was like, is that the neutrino in Smash?
But, oh, that's funny because I never realized there was a Zack neutrino.
But no, like this kid, he like this little like short kid, just like rolls up. He like I think he like jumps down from like the fire escape in front of like Raphael and Donatello to like protect them. And
yeah, like dude.
And he's like, oh yeah, and he's like ready to like defend them and fight like this gang of like gangbangers. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, bro, you're about to get murdered.
And he's got and just for the listeners, he's all set up. He's got his own Ninja Turtle style ninja mask because it's green. He does also have a headband over that, like on top of that, above it, which is red. And then he's got a fake turtle shell,
Party City shell, yeah.
And to say that,
yeah,
Michael or Raphael and Donatello are less than enthused is an understatement.
Yeah,
man, it was weird. I mean, I didn't expect them to be so harsh, I guess, as Donnie puts it later, to the kid. Like I don't remember this episode at all. But when I saw the premise, I'm like, oh, we're gonna finally get the turtles interacting with a kid, a fan of theirs. Just right off bat, Donatello's like, you ain't no crime fighter.
Yeah.
Golly. Then Raphael's backing on this disguise. Donatello just tells him to go home. Like, this is a little kid.
He calls him a klutz. He's like, good job, klutz.
Yeah.
When he knocks him down.
Yep.
But no, that's like, I was all about that. I was like, I love the way they treat this dude. Bagging on him, like, no, get the hell out of here. You can get yourself hurt. You're gonna get us killed, okay? So bye. And then so the turtles make quick work of like the guys, but afterwards, during the fray, Raphael drops his communicator, and kid, I thought initially on purpose he was like kicking it down the road to like steal it, but he just accidentally did it. So I was like, all right,
yeah. Which by the way, the turtles do have a fight with these guys after Zack is useless.
Oh, he goes to fight and then he falls over on his own feet or trips on some shit
like Splinter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Except this kid don't got the excuse of being an 80-year-old rat. So he's in here trying to be all badass. It's like, oh, that's your grand entrance? All right, cool.
But Donatello does do a pretty cool move. He does a sweet spin kick on a trash can to knock it into the bad guys.
That was pretty dope. And it takes out two guys with that thing.
Yeah.
No, Donnie and Raph had no problem dealing with these fools. The kid was definitely more of a hindrance.
I was disappointed at first because I thought we weren't going to get to see Raphael and Donatello fight them, because I just kind of wanted to see a good old fashioned couple Ninja Turtles versus a few bad guys that aren't nearly as good as them.
That's definitely what you got.
That's what I got, yeah. But at first I thought, oh, it's not going to happen now that this kid showed up, but it still happened.
Yeah, it seems we've been lacking a lot of action. Way more seemed to be taking place during the last 2 seasons. And so far, it feels like we haven't had a lot of good fight scenes. At least, I don't think so.
What's up with that? No, I agree. I don't know. And it's not that you can't really blame it on the Technodrome being underground, because so what? Bebop, Rocksteady, and Sure come up and it's all this, so, or there's some other emergency. So yeah, I don't know why the writers are doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But at least we got a call back this episode.
Definitely. Yeah, it was cool to start seeing a little more action in this one.
A little more action. We also get to see the Technodrome once again, and Shredder, Bebop, Rocksteady, Krang. We've got all of the main bad guys, which is always fun.
Oh yeah. And of course there's a callback to the seed planted earlier with Donatello being interested in this solar event or planetary event. And that just turns out to be the exact, plot for their scheme this week for the bad guys. Is they're going to wait till the planets align or something. And the sun will shine through a telescope and irradiate some crystals that they're going to steal and give enough power to bring up the Technodrome again. Yeah,
the physics on this are extremely questionable.
Oh yeah, this is some real dicey shit.
I wrote down the exact words. Donatello says, like he's talking about how tomorrow's they call it a conjunction of the planets, which they mean alignment. I've never heard it been called a conjunction, but but whatever. Is just the Earth, the Moon, and Mars. And he says, quote, it makes a light that will like be powerful, basically. Like it makes a light when this happens.
Thanks, Krang.
How does he know this?
That's a good question. Yeah.
He's not from
maybe
he's not from our dimension even. Like don't even planets in his own damn dimension. How's he gonna know about ours?
Also at the beginning of the episode, Donatello is talking about Jupiter. He's like, oh, Jupiter's right here. That means, like, last time it was here. That means it's going to be this spot. But Jupiter doesn't have anything to do with it.
No. But it's like space stuff, but still. But, you can tell where Donatello was going with it before he got rudely interrupted for a pizza run or a pizza ingredient run.
Yeah, he was the only person busy. Everybody, wasn't nobody else doing nothing.
I was actually surprised it was a midnight munchie thing. I was like, what the heck? They're all just up like late at night and they're like, oh, it's like, let's go on a pizza run. I'm like, that's tight. I would think the turtles would be like going to sleep like at 8 o'clock or some shit. They're like ninjas.
Yeah.
Leo makes them go to bed early.
Probably, yeah.
So one thing I want to point out, there was music that played when, and we're going back a little bit, when Zach first showed up. Well, not when he first showed up, but when he was talking to the turtles and Donatello and Raphael were pretty much scolding him. I know you all recognize this music. I thought it was reserved just for Irma. But they started playing the music that you don't like, Christopher.
I heard it.
Electric piano.
It's like Golden Girls music.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's just for like...
I can't picture... I
think it's just humans.
Annoying characters.
Just annoying character music.
Seems to be that way.
I think that's starting to track. Like, I always reserved it particularly for like humans, but now it's like I feel like they're playing it specifically when there's certain humans on the screen.
Certain ones, yeah.
Because I don't think April gets it unless she's paired up with Irma.
Yeah,
I heard it and I was just like, what? Like, why?
Yeah, where's Irma?
Why ruin a good scene?
Where's Irma?
I like how he's got like a hockey stick. Like, a shout out to like Casey.
Yeah. I thought about that. He's got his hockey stick. I loved when I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit. So if y'all want to back me up, just yell at me. But when they go to steal the Capsidium crystals, and Shredder's like, all right, y'all break in. Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady's like, all right, break in and steal them. Rocksteady just starts punching the vault.
That's your boy.
That's my boy.
Just slugging the door.
And then Shredder tells him to stop, but only because he's afraid that he's going to damage the crystals that are inside.
I'm sure he'd have gotten through.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I think he would, especially based on Bebop, because Bebop then jumps on the door, grabs the handle, and just pulls until he rips the whole thing open.
Right,
he does.
I was like, oh, I didn't expect that.
It's a big, strong boy.
Oh,
yeah, it is.
These guys ain't no joke. They're not the brightest, but man, they will tear shit up.
Like, damn.
Try to, at least. And then in that same scene, now that you're there, Shredder says, basically, the capsaicin crystals are very fragile. And then once he gets a hold of them, like right before or right after the turtles barge in, you see him just shaking the box with the crystals in it, like saying, whatever he says, he's like, you won't stop me now, kind of mocking the turtles, but he shakes the very fragile crystals in the box.
Nice. I did not notice that.
I didn't either. One other thing that I loved on this scene was when the turtles bust in and they're like, stop right there, like whatever. They do their typical, like, we're here to stop you guys, Shredder. They are doing an awesome pose.
Oh, yeah. No, it's with April there. She's like world
yes.
starring. And
yes. Yeah, I remember now.
And the turtles are all like on the staircase. It was pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was like something you'd see on a poster or something.
Or coloring book or something.
That was nice.
Yeah.
I like how
Very
Raphael's
cool pose.
pointing. He's just like, you. emphasizing who they're talking to.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. But
No.
yeah, April's got her video camera, of course. That's what she's kind of posing with. She's already filming with it. She's not just doing a pose like they are. Like she's already in business.
Oh yeah.
Filming what's going on. But what's also hilarious is so Zach, of course, busts in. And there are two very funny things that happen. One of them intentionally, one of them not. The first one intentionally is Zach busts in on his bike. And he goes, "I'll help you, turtle." And then like first thing he does is wrecks his bike. Like nothing even happens. He just wrecks it just from riding into the room.
Oh, and he like wipes out the turtles in April.
Yeah. Forgot about that. Which that was like, that's classic kid humor, but it actually did it for me. Like I thought that was really pretty funny. Just how he's trying to make this awesome entrance and like without even anything happening, he just completely wipes out.
Mm-hmm.
I thought when he went over the rail, he was going to fall into like some big ass pit, like an actually deep pit, not just like the shallow one. I was like, oh, that kid just got fucked up.
Two-Face now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he almost does get fucked up because he falls in that little area and there's some kind of
pendulum
thing swinging and it's just about to crush him. And April, it cuts to April.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. Yes.
And she's just filming it and she goes, "Byrne is going to love this footage."
Snuff film you're making? Like,
Right. Dang, April.
no regard.
Apparently not.
Anything else on this scene? Like, this is a pretty good scene, all things considered.
Well, yeah, like even Shredder's like, "Thanks, kid." And he's like, "I don't know who you are, but thanks." And then Raphael's like pissed off. He's like, "I'll save him. You guys deal with Shredder or whatever." They're like definitely put off by this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like the whole attitude toward him cracks me up. I was like, yeah, these guys are just not about this kid to be like tagging along.
Not at all.
No.
They were not the friendly turtles that you would expect them to be toward a kid.
No, they weren't. They were not until Michelangelo kind of has some sympathy on him. Michelangelo's the first one to have sympathy on him because he says, "Hey, he's only a micro dude." Like, in other words, like, "Hey, he's just a little kid. Let's like cut him some slack," basically. And then we get the part with him following them home. But before they do that, Leonardo says something. Just the way he addresses Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady. He says Shredder and his weirdos got away. Like, I don't know, something about that just was just like so weird to me. Like I don't think he's ever called them Shredder and his weirdos.
Yeah. I did see the scene though where Leonardo snatches dude's mask off though. He had the little kid.
Zach's?
Yeah, he snatches Zach's mask off. So even Leonardo was not in the mood for this shit.
No, none of them were.
Even though Michelangelo says he's a micro dude, his face said otherwise.
Okay.
Well, they just straight up. So at 9 minutes and 30 seconds this is the point where they've gotten away. The bad guys have gotten away, and they're trying to figure out who this kid is and what to do with him and everything. And he's telling the turtles, why he's here and why he's such a fan or whatever. And he wants to be just like them. And, Raph gets the line that nobody would want to be a mutant turtle. And then Zach, with the Irma music in the background, the sad music, he says, "You wouldn't want to be me either." And immediately, all four turtles just turn their back on this kid and just walk away from him. There's no response to this sad music, the kid with the sad face, suffering depression, and apparently mentally something's going on with him. He's acting out fantasies and dressing up as people and stuff, fantasizing about being a hero. These turtles don't give a crap about these kids at this point in this cartoon.
They're jaded as hell. They've been turned on by humanity so much. It's like, screw them. And
No
little kids too. No. But the next scene is dope because like they're cruising away and they're going back to their lair. And then this little bastard's like on his little bicycle, like creeping right behind him. I was like, you guys don't see this shit? Like,
yeah, right.
And he looks like a little creeper, like from like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, like a little like clown on his bike, just like rolling in them. And he just like, and then like this guy had the balls to break into their van and like put some kind of goo on the floor that like they comment on as being sticky, and they're like blaming Michelangelo for eating in there.
Yeah, he uses it to track them.
Yeah.
Which in regards to him following them so close, he was following them so closely that when I first watched that scene, I thought they had made friends and like off camera and let him come back with them.
I did for a second.
Says, until they say the thing about, until he says like, oh, now I can track them because there's the stuff on their shoes.
Oh, like, dude, you were like asking for an ass whooping at this point. It's like, and honestly, he might have caught one if Splinter hadn't been there.
Yeah. Is this the first time? Is this the first time that we've seen where the van enters and exits the sewer?
Interesting.
I don't think it's ever shown. It seems like the same spot where they come out on the cheapskates usually, but I don't think we've ever seen that. This is where the van goes.
Yeah. Well, where was it that one time it got like launched out?
Oh yeah, the one time.
Oh, good question. Maybe it did show it then. I don't remember if it actually showed it exiting. Did it show it exiting on that one? It may have.
I don't recall. I just remember getting like giant like hand spring things. Like
that was so good.
Yeah.
So the Turtles are in their lair and they're like, talking about the day's events or whatever. And I think even Splinter's there and he's like, reconvening with them. And this kid rolls in because they hear something, and they all are like waiting, like right by the door to like bash the shit out of whoever walks through this thing.
It almost got killed.
It was a murder scene. And like I said, if Splinter hadn't been there, it might have been.
Might have been, yeah.
Because Splinter now is all like, oh, this kid's tight. Look at him. He like, you guys should be humbled that somebody so like whack is able to find you.
Actually, that's a good point. Like this little kid is able to find them, and like other people, like Shredder, namely, has not. Yeah, that's pretty good.
And this little punk has been able to track these turtles to her house when Shredder and Co. and all these other fools can't. Damn, the fucking turtles must be slipping. Or like, this kid's good.
It's that Junior Spy Kid, man.
Yeah, he keeps mentioning, we haven't brought that up the whole time. The whole episode, he keeps mentioning his Junior Spy Kit, like this and that from my Junior Spy Kit.
Do y'all remember those when y'all was little? With all these little cheap fake stuff in there, like the magnifying glass, the little thing where you're supposed to be able to like hear like a sonic ear or something like that. Those little
I remember there being stuff like that. I don't think I ever had anything like that.
I remember seeing them. I never had them. I remember like having like not having anything, but seeing like the light up glasses or like some sort of glasses and
like X-ray glasses or something like that.
Yeah, and tracking powder. I think there was like something where you could like dust your fingerprints too. I was like, what parents are cool with their kid just sprinkling shit all around and dusting for stuff? I'm like, what are you doing, Tommy? Go outside, weirdo.
Didn't a lot of those typically come with quote X-ray glasses?
Yeah, I think they did.
Have any of y'all ever worn a pair? Like, I'm curious as to what those glasses actually did to make them even be able to be called loosely X-ray. I mean, I know that they obviously were not X-ray glasses, but I wonder, were they just straight up nothing? Like, was it just clear lenses and that was it, or did they like have some kind of weird effect? Do you have any idea?
I never had the pleasure.
I never had idea what the effect was.
Okay.
I was stupid enough as a kid to think that they did work, though. I did.
Hell yeah.
Think that they, because that's why I wanted one of those kits. I wanted one of those kits really badly for like the X-ray glasses and then the sonic ear where you can supposedly hear like yards and yards away. So I was a sucker for that stuff. So the X-ray glasses were always one of the things that I wanted, but I somehow throughout my whole childhood, I never got.
Well, you probably came out on top on that one.
Or I missed out on several.
I really don't think you did.
Okay.
I really liked Splinter welcoming Zack. It was kind of fun for the turtles finally be like, all right, fine, you want a tour of the place, like, and this and that.
Warm up to him. Yeah.
But Zach turns out to be an absolute moron because he goes, Michelangelo is showing him he's like showing him their pizza basically. And Mike, you can go ahead and ring us in on introduce this thing.
I swear it's a duplicate. We've had this before. I don't have my spreadsheet in front of me, but
we don't have to count it then.
No, it counts. This is the 6th one in this cycle, the hot fudge and anchovy. That does sound familiar, right? We have had that on the list already, right?
Say it again.
Hot fudge and anchovy.
I think it might have been peanut butter and anchovy.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
There, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't say what.
They both sound gross as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are up to number 6, so just be wary.
It's like the doomsday clock. Just
Yeah. But anyway, Michelangelo is showing him this pizza, and Zach fucking says, "If I eat this, do I become a turtle?"
Brilliant kid. Raphael, though, he's like, no, but you will turn green.
Yes.
Which I was like, yep, that's why I ain't trying to eat this shit.
That's what's going to happen to Robert if he has to eat the peanut butter and anchovy one.
Yeah, that's very true.
But yeah, no, the Zach's not the brightest. But I think it was cool, though, how they did show him around. Like, Michelangelo showed him pizza. Donatello showed him like some sort of experiment that seemed to like blow this kid's mind. Like, it was like way above his pay grade. I think wasn't it Leonardo that was doing like the training session.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what Raph showed him.
He didn't do anything. He just cracked the joke. that was his contribution.
He's like, I still don't think this kid's worth a shit.
Pretty much. I was disappointed in that because they had, like you said, each of the turtles do their thing.
Yeah.
But I guess Raphael's was just instigating, which I guess is his thing. So
yeah, instigating.
Yeah.
Just being a dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like the kid was like, oh, like here's like this thing I found. He was like trying to buy his way in, and he was, because that was like his initial plan. Because he was like, oh, I found this like the turtle com, and like if I bring it to them, maybe they'll make me a turtle.
Yep.
And he shows it to him. He's like, look what I can do with when I plug this in, and it creates like this piercing noise. And then even Splinter's like, yeah, neat.
Yeah.
Good job, kid.
Yeah, well, good job. You pissed off the one guy that was cool with you.
I thought it was very funny. So this comes up because this part of the story comes up because it's used as kind of a device for Shredder to learn where the kid lives, so he can send Bebop and Rocksteady to kidnap him, which they don't find him, but then because he hides just like in his closet or something. Oh yeah, he hides like among the toys in his closet so they don't notice him, and he's able to alert the turtles that they're up to something. Anyway, his bike has a fucking license plate.
I was going to ask y'all about this.
Is that a thing like in other cities?
Exactly.
I'm not familiar with this.
Do not think there's any place where bicycles have license plates.
Okay, because I'm like, same as you. Was this a thing, or was this a thing back in the 80s?
Yeah, because Shredder definitely used that shit to his advantage.
And the way he uses it is that doesn't seem protocol. Just because I have a license plate, I want to return this. Give me the address. I'm like, this is not this is not proper procedure.
It was a different time, Mike.
I guess so.
I guarantee, like, so many things have changed in terms of like stuff like that from then
laws
to now.
And things. Yeah,
procedures, whatever. But yeah, no, I guarantee. I bet you it was. I think. I mean, I don't know if you still can, but I think you used to be able to like look up addresses at the DMV for like certain cars or like license plates.
You go up there and just look it up.
Yeah, identify them and like tell you where they're at. I was like, isn't that like a easy way to steal shit? Like what?
Yeah, that don't seem secure at all.
No, I don't think they do that anymore. I don't know though. I've never done it.
So eventually we get to that scene where the fucking planetary conjunction is happening with just 2 planets and a moon. And they're using the light to power up the crystals. So the turtles bust in, and there's another awesome pose.
Oh, nice.
Did you all catch this one?
I don't think I did.
No.
But real quick, right before that, the turtles are trying to figure out the plan and like how this is gonna work out and where they're gonna be, where Shredder and Co are gonna be. And Donatello's like, telling them everything, and everybody's like standing behind him at the computer screen. And like he turns around and explains the science behind everything to the turtles, and like they are looking at him like he's speaking Chinese. Like it is.
Oh, I didn't catch this.
they're like just looking at him like, and like I thought somebody was gonna be like crickets, or like there's gonna be some sort of smart ass comment, but they know actually like Raphael comes up with like, oh, they must be at the planetarium then. I was just like, wow, I did not expect that to happen.
That's funny. I didn't notice that. But we got this awesome pose once again.
I see it now.
Donatello in the four. It's like the greatest.
Oh yeah, and then like Michelangelo's like swinging the shit out of his nunchucks, like he's going all in the background. I remember that. I was like,
yeah, he's all in the background doing that. It's like it's like the most perfectly laid out, quick little shot, because they got foreground, background, like you said, Michelangelo's back there, Donatello's in the foreground, Raphael and Leonardo are in the middle, and they're all kind of posing, like getting ready to attack. And then in the very foreground, we see kind of the side back of Shredder's face.
Mm-hmm.
He's they're of course approaching him, and he's kind of staring them down. It's just another awesome little shot. It's just really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
It was a good surprise because like they'd been tied up, and like the plan is foiled and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. This was after they got freed. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like they're able to like get like a piece of the crystal, and they like break themselves free and all this stuff. And then like Shredder turns around, and he sees the turtles, like he's like, oh, at least we got the turtles. And he turns around, they're there to whoop his ass. I was like, oh, that's tight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but don't forget, like in the beginning though, when they were starting to invade the planetarium, where like when the turtles got on the scene, they broke up, like Mike was saying earlier. Raphael, Donatello, you take care of the foot soldiers. Michelangelo and I are gonna take this. Leonardo speaking. Michelangelo and I are gonna go ahead and go inside and deal with Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady. And it's just like, don't you guys like half the time get your ass whooped by those people as a quartet? Like now you're going in there with a duo. But I'm like, all right, you do you. And Raph and Donnie do an awesome thing where they like get in. Like I think it's one of the first times I've seen them inside of like an enemy vehicle outside the Technodrome. But they're like inside it, and Donatello's like figuring it out. And he like sets it, so then the foot soldiers run in there, and then like they jump out, and then the sends them back down to dimension or to the Technodrome. I was like, oh, that's tight.
Yeah.
Notice there's no lava.
Not this time. I wonder if that's like something they have to activate, or what the deal is with that.
Yeah, feature.
Yeah, I would think. I would. I guess it needs to be. It would need to be activated from the Technodrome, right?
I don't know. I mean,
or just flip a button.
It's an interesting feature if it needs to be activated to like shoot lava in the chamber, like
probably superheats the rock and sediment and turns it into molten hot magma, and then you hit a switch and it ejects it. There were some things though before this that I wanted to point out. So, and it's kind of a plot hole to me, but maybe I missed something. So you guys can tell me what's up here. So when Bebop and Rocksteady kidnap Zack and he hides in a closet. Oh, by the way, according to Turtlepedia, the closet scene, they said it's a scene that's very similar to one in E.T.
Okay, I was thinking of that.
Okay, I don't remember the movie enough, but it was pretty much an homage to that.
Yeah, like E.T. hides in the closet, and people are looking for him, and they just kind of like there's a bunch of toys. It's just like there's just a bunch of toys there, so he just seems like he's just one of the toys.
And that kind of tracks because one of the toys kind of reminded me of E.T.
Yes, one of them does kind of look like him.
Right. But anyway, so he comes out of the hiding, and he has a turtle com still. But didn't he just give it back to Raphael? And he hasn't become, an honorary turtle yet, where they give him, later on, where they give him one. Why does he have a turtle com still?
I didn't remember him giving it back, but did he? I'm not saying he didn't. I just don't remember that.
Yeah, he was telling Raphael
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Okay, so he just magically has one again.
Right. Okay. Okay, so if you all are saying that, then I guess I didn't miss anything. It's just that they they messed up because he doesn't have any business having that turtle com. But also, I had to rewind it and look to see if it was indeed a turtle com. Because if it was, why didn't he just call them on the turtle com? He's cool with them now, and there's trouble. That's the time when you would call them.
Well, because he told Master Splinter, because Master Splinter said, you need to stop.
Right, not to get involved. But this is not him getting involved. This is him warning the turtles of factual information that he didn't do anything. Yeah, that he's privy to. Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird. I don't know. That didn't make sense.
Maybe he can't he can't parse what's getting involved and what's not. He's a 14-year-old that thought he could fight like gangbangers. So I'm not sure his brain is really working too well.
Gotcha.
That's a good point. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't want them to know that he still has their turtle com.
I don't know. We can maybe all day long, but I think they just messed up. I think that's a plot hole. And this is just a theory, and you guys can tell me what you think about it. So after Bebop and Rocksteady failed to get Zack, Krang is doing his usual thing of scolding Shredder and putting him down. Shredder's like, the boy is unnecessary to the plans. Let's just get on with what we were trying to do. In so many words, he's just saying, let's try to get on with what we're doing. We don't need the boy. I don't know. This is just me and my brain. I think about the different dynamics, even though it's a cartoon and it's written a specific way, but the dynamics between different characters. How would Shredder treat a kid was one of the things that I was thinking of. And then when this scene happened, when he said that, the boy is unnecessary, I'm wondering if that's Shredder's way of kind of having some compassion for the kid, not wanting to, do a kid in. Because even later on, he doesn't harm the boy. He's just using him as bait. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? If Shredder has a soft spot, or he's not so ruthless that he would hurt a child?
I don't know.
I think he would. I think he's just trying to focus on the plan. He doesn't want any distractions or diversions. He's just like, look, we don't need to deal with this shit. Can we just do this? Stick to the mission. That's how I look at him. I think maybe so. I don't think he's being, not saying sentimental or anything like that. Or compassionate. I think he's just being pragmatic.
Got you. Just get on with it. We don't need to be dealing with this right now.
Yeah. He's like, we're almost home free. We're almost gonna win here.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. I was trying to give Shredder a little shine, but okay.
No, I'm not.
I love how Krang says, I think it was Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady, don't just stand there like a frozen steer.
Oh yeah, that's at the very end when he's on his back like a turtle.
Oh yeah.
Oh right. Oh yeah. He fell down because they came in and all this, and he can't get up.
Oh yeah. I think we need to mention the fact that the Technodrome got fucking wrecked.
Yeah, it did.
Yep.
Because it was working. The crystal thing was working. It was levitating and giving power to the Technodrome to bring it back to the surface, and it was just going through the channels that pre-existed or some shit. But it's coming back up, and then when Zack blows up the crystals, it gets depowered. And it just drops the Technodrome. It's just
I forgot about that.
And Krang's in there. He's like, what the hell? He's just and this thing's getting busted all to shit. And it's just inside there's rubble everywhere. Computers are broken. And he's just I got it. I'll take care of it, Krang. He's just kind of Die Hard. It's just oh, come out to LA. It'll be fun. They said. He's all jacked up in there. But yeah, that was actually one of my highlights. Just watching the Technodrome just get rocked, pun intended.
Yeah.
Nice.
I get a nice little final scene also where, so I don't think we mentioned this, but Zach's brother has been like making fun of him the whole time.
This guy, yeah.
Because he like, he's like, oh, you really want to be a hero, blah, blah, kind of like making fun of him for that, making fun of him for thinking the turtles are real. And Zach's like, oh, I finally met him. And he's like, yeah, right, whatever.
And he's like, oh yeah, the day you meet them, I'll eat that costume.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then he's like kind of points in when he gets home this time, and the turtles are there in the van. They dropped him off. And so of course his brother's like, what? And it's just a nice little ending. Just Zach gets a little validation.
Yeah, that's a good word.
For his pursuit of helping out the Ninja Turtles.
Want to eat this with ketchup or mayonnaise?
Oh, I don't know why he had to say it like that.
Yeah.
And then the kid's just like, his brother's just sitting there dumbfounded, like, oh. It's like, I gotta eat this. Well, yeah, bro.
Have either of you lost a bet where you actually did have to eat a thing?
I've bet I would eat something for something, but I've never lost a bet that made me eat something.
Robert?
I'm not sure. I one time drank lemon juice that you get in those little bottles, but I don't remember if that was a bet, if I lost a bet, or if that was more of a dare.
I see. I was just curious if that has actually happened to any of you guys. It hasn't happened to me either.
That's good.
I'll eat my hat. No. You can't eat hats. Although, well, I don't want to get off subject, but I have seen someone lose a bet. Some wrestling YouTubers that I like to watch. Man, the hat was made out of fondant. Fondant? However you say that. The
last one.
Fondant.
Yeah, the last one.
And it was pretty big. And the thing that made him sick was basically eating all of that fondant. Because it's just sugar, right?
It's like I would have rather just eaten a damn hat.
Yeah.
I hate the whole, it's like a real hat-sized hat.
Yes, it was a top hat size hat.
That sounds horrible.
It was very big. And he had to eat the whole thing.
Anybody would be sick from that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's almost worse, like you said. Yep, but that does end our fun little episode here, I guess.
It was a fun little episode. I loved this one. Because for all the things we mentioned, first off, it's really just overall got the feel and tone of, the Ninja Turtles episodes that we like in general. Not a ton of action, but a fair amount. It's got the animation was good. There's these several cool, just like awesome pose scenes that we talked about. I like the story. I actually like the story with Zach. It could have been very annoying, but he actually, it doesn't, for a couple things, it doesn't focus too much on him. And when it does, it's actually kind of worth it for the story. It kind of, they're never just following Zach, like just to see what Zach's doing now, kind of like with how they did with, Blodgett and stuff like that in the past. And also, Zach is, first off, he's not a terrible character. He is a little bit dumb, but he just wants to help the Ninja Turtles, and he's not super annoying about it. But also, this is like, Zach is basically what every kid wants to be.
Thank you. Yes.
Is that kind of what you were thinking too? Like, this is the one where it's like, we're going to take all the kids who want to be a Ninja Turtle, and we're basically putting them in this episode.
Yes.
I just thought that was great.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I would rock his costume if I could. I mean, as a little kid.
Yeah, and honestly, his design, even though he's just a little kid dressed up, like I feel like they did a pretty good job with his design. It's just kind of a fun looking design with his mask and his headband and his fake turtle shell. He looks fun.
Yeah, something a typical kid would put together.
Yeah. Especially the shell. The shell is like that drives it home. I thought it was a good idea. I had the shell like with the suspenders and then like the belt for the weapon. I was like, that's smart.
Yeah. Give me
Yeah.
an idea for next Halloween. So how many slices, Robert?
I think I'm gonna go with 9.
Nice.
Dang, that's high.
This one just kind of, there's nothing. Oh, and also, like I said, also we got plenty of, well, a fair amount of all of the main bad guys.
Yeah.
Just very fun. Like just everything about this was just very fun all around. I can't really point to one thing that I can't point to anything that I really disliked, and I can't point to anything that I think it's lacking either.
Christopher?
I'm gonna give it an 8. It was just a solid, good episode. It was fun. It was a nice change of pace from the things we've been seeing, and it had, like Robert was saying, it's got it's got all the bad guys, our standard bad guys, and I partly what made it a little higher for me than just like a 7 or something was the comebacks or the commentary from the Turtles towards Zach. It's like one of those like never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And I kind of felt like, in a way, the Turtles, this was like one of those types of episodes or like movies or something you see where like the idols, the badasses, the big bads have gotten like put on a pedestal or like gotten lazy, and they need to be reminded to like, get on your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
And I think like, Zach being able to like infiltrate the lair and them getting scolded by Splinter and stuff like that was a little bit of that, So I was cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 9 for you, or I'm sorry, 8 for you and 9 for
8
Robert.
for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have here written down 7 or 8, and I'm still not 100% sure. I'll talk it through and then see how I feel about it.
Okay.
I do like that they packed a lot of tropes in this one episode. The typical kid meets their heroes and is obsessed with them and wants to be like them, blah, blah, blah. You see this a lot. It was your typical straight down the middle white bread writing, I feel, with this particular trope. So I didn't feel one way or the other about Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first time around, I just was kind of like a little bored, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was weird. But the main thing that I kept thinking about is, like you said, Robert, this is the ultimate dream as a kid, right? Meet the Turtles, become an honorary turtle, get a turtle comp.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot to kind of focus on that a little bit more. Getting the turtle com at the end was kind of the biggest thing.
Yes, that's the ultimate. I mean, I'm sure you two have, right? Just dreamed of having a turtle com. And for me, it was whenever I'm scared at night, I was just praying for some type of protection, and specifically from the Ninja Turtles. And it was like, you get to have a turtle com where you can just say, "Hey, Leonardo, I'm scared." You know what I mean?
Right.
To a small child, that's the that's a pencil. Yeah. Oh, also, last thing, I'm sorry. I also liked the way that they kind of circled back to the turtle com noise thing that Zach did as the resolution.
Yes.
Because how many times have they just pulled some kind of convenient crap out of their rear ends, as the resolution, right? So no, I'm gonna give it an 8. It was a good, fun episode, like y'all said.
Yeah.
Why don't we go ahead and
oh boy.
Not only does he get to be an honorary turtle and have a turtle com, but Zach gets to join the power ranking list.
Oh. It's living a dream.
Yeah.
This kid has got it all.
Yep, he gets to be put up there with great names like Monster from Dimension What and Burn.
Coop Monster. Oh.
Yeah. Tiffany.
So let me copy this stuff over.
Part of me was like actually thinking it was like Tiffany, like a bad dream. Nope, she's on there.
Nope, she's there.
That happened.
That happened. Yes.
So that happened. So where does he go? What do y'all think?
Oh, I'll let y'all go first.
I'm gonna.
Do we?
Oh man, he's.
So keep in mind. All right, so we do have to give him credit because he was able to track the turtles when nobody else was able to, and he used a pretty smart way of doing it. So does get credit there. On the other hand, he does basically beat himself up every time he tries to do something.
Yeah, but he also did destroy the crystals.
That's true. He's kind of like, well, no, I'm not gonna give him that much credit. He's very resourceful and ingenuitive. Is that a word?
I don't think so, but
It is
I'll
now.
allow it. I'm going to put him under Baxter's Goop Monster.
So that's in between Baxter's Scoop Monster and below is Tiffany. Robert?
That's exactly what I was thinking at first. I wonder if he deserves slightly more credit than that.
No.
Why would you think that he deserves more?
Just because of the thing he did with the high-pitched squeal on the thing and his ability to track the turtles.
The reason,
Like the goop monster.
Those two things are the only reason where I placed him above Tiffany. Other than that, he goes under Blodgett.
Dang.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a good point. Without those, he's nothing. But you could say that you could kind of bring that up for a lot of people with their skills. Like the goop monster is pretty. I feel like they're almost exactly the same. Goop monster is mindless and can do some damage. Zach can't really do much, but he's
mindless and damages himself and the turtles. Remember, he smacked both of them.
Yeah,
he did do.
And he knocked out all 5 of the crew. April included.
What do you think, Mike? I think I'm okay with him being there. I might put him like in between the two Baxter's monsters.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a rough one because I look at some of the people that are above him, and I can see him outsmarting the likes of Bebop and Rocksteady. I think that even with his shortcomings and being a 14-year-old kid and some of his bad decision making, because that's really what it is. He's made bad decisions, typical of a 14-year-old. But when he really needs to use his brain, wait a minute, you know what I'm thinking about it? Donatello is the one that said that the crystals are highly sensitive to harsh sounds or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But even still, that gave the kid the idea, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, he heard that. And he's like, oh, wait a minute. I know what will make a harsh sound. So I think he has more. Bebop and Rocksteady wouldn't have did that. They would have tried to punch something like Rocksteady tried to punch that vault door. But then you look at somebody like, I don't know, April or Smash or Omnis, and there's no way he belongs anywhere up there. He's obviously not physically.
I mean, imagine him versus Tony the Butcher and his crew. He would be a statistic.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no chance.
Teenager shot down in robbery trying to help.
But see, he would outsmart Catwoman April. It's rough. I'll just go along with you guys. Because I mean,
well, I don't know. I don't have an opinion yet, so you can't go along with me.
Well, you were kind of leaning toward under, where you said between Baxter's
Well, okay, yes. Yeah, that's what I was leaning. I'm still unsure. I kind of wanted to hear what you thought.
Yeah, my thoughts are all over the place. The list is kind of rough to put people in now that I've had time to really look at it and think about it over the last few weeks, because we've got people up above that. I don't know when you say how powerful, and when you define that as, how well they can overcome a scenario, not necessarily pitted against each other, but how well can they survive, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think Bebop and Rocksteady, when put into a tough situation that requires thinking, they don't make it out of that situation. We've seen evidence of this, right? But then you have, how smart is Smash? Is he smarter? And would he be able to survive more than ominous. So I'm having a tough time placing this kid because some people. I'm gonna just go with whatever you guys decide.
Well, since you and I are both very unsure, and Chris sounds pretty sure, why don't we put him where Chris thinks?
There you go. Stick him in there.
Right.
Christopher, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh yeah.
But no.
He sends me
Yeah.
death threats every time I call him Chris.
Yeah, all the time.
Just all the time.
So Zach will go, let's see, what is he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7th from the bottom of 37 or 36 characters.
And look,
Beneath-
that's not bad for a 14-year-old. When
No,
you put
yeah,
it
it's
up
not,
against like grown-ass people, including Captain Hoffman, who was in charge of all kinds of weaponry, a fucking ice tank.
Poor Captain Hoffman.
Okay. So
All
it's
his little
like,
pride is gone.
I'm being okay with this kid. I'm giving him some kudos. So don't make me look the bad guy.
No.
No,
Not to put it that way.
I'm not necessarily saying that's bad. I'm just giving basically so that I don't have to run down the whole fucking list once again, giving our listeners an idea. He's 7th from the bottom, but he's below Baxter's Goop Monster and above below both of Baxter's monsters, directly below the Goop Monster and above Tiffany and Byrne.
I mean, I'm not fighting a fucking goop monster. I mean, or Catwoman April. I know my ass is getting shredded. So
She was pretty strong.
yeah, no, I'm cool. And then you got me fighting Smash or some shit? No. Hell, I wouldn't even fight Rex 1. Damn Terminator.
Where do you real quick? Where do you think you guys would go on this list?
Oh.
I just closed it
Man,
out.
I ain't even on the list. That's where I go. I don't belong on the list.
Where do you think? Do you think? All right, well, guys. I guess not. I guess we wouldn't really do anything. We wouldn't be anywhere on here, would we? Like,
I mean, I'm doing more than fucking Irma and Blodgett.
No,
we
you
would
ain't.
be right above Vernon.
I would not be saying, "Mommy," as my mask goes off the bridge. Okay, I'm not. That lost this man points. He could have been above Vernon, but
If it wasn't for the mommy stuff, yeah,
Yes.
probably so, maybe so.
and everything he wished for was like a detriment to himself.
But
I
would you
mean-
have saved April from the falling building? Would you have put yourself in harm's way for April O'Neil?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe if I had to say it, doesn't he have like a weird crush on her?
No, that never came.
Blodgett does? Does
That
he?
never came to light.
No. Okay. I don't know if I would do that. But the thing is, I wouldn't be doing all that other dumb shit, so I don't know if it's a
He would.
wash.
If we would pull an April and just record her getting destroyed by the building and say Byrne is going to love this.
That was so crazy.
Yeah,
Why,
that's some
dang,
cold-hearted
April.
shit. Yeah, she's not exactly our. Nobody in this episode like that kid. Damn.
This 14-year-old kid is literally about to get crushed to death.
And April's
School
like,
is
I got
school.
this on film. Yeah,
My
I mean,
job.
that's why she was there to begin with. She's always about the climbing the ladder.
That's true.
80s April.
She is. Where would you put yourself, Robert? How highly do you think of you? You
I
attack
guess
team
for-
with Smash, right? That's what it is.
There you
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, hand in hand.
I think I pretty much agree with you guys. Like, I don't think I could take on Captain Hoffman. I don't think I have any more influence on anything than he did. So I guess I'd put myself above Vernon.
Yeah, it's like I deal with Vernons every day at work. So
No, I ain't even on the list. Arma got more whatever than I do.
damn,
At least she.
she's got more swagger.
Well,
There's
I don't know.
no at
she
least
what?
with Irma.
There's no at least she, huh?
There's no- if I was
She
tag
wasn't even,
teaming,
she wasn't even weak sauce in this episode.
if I was tag teaming with Smash, he would tag me in, and in doing so, he would rip my hand off from just tagging me in.
Wow, he just killed you.
He just kills. Yeah, I bleed out right there.
I'd watch that episode.
Wow.
What if?
That's
What
awesome.
if?
I've watched
What
that
if? Yeah. What if
episode.
something like that happened on the episode? Like all of a sudden, something just incredibly gory
Ugh.
and violent happens.
Yeah,
Just like very explicitly, he just knocks somebody's hand off. It goes flying off bloody and like the bone sticking out of the arm.
The person's like holding their stump, like, ah.
Leo misses with his katana and just slices Mikey's hand off.
Face.
I don't want to talk about these things. The last thing that I have, and I want to talk about this because as I was watching this, I remembered the 2012 Nickelodeon show that they did a similar arc as this. And I was wondering, did they, do a carbon copy in the Nickelodeon show as this, to this? So I had to look it up.
Yes.
Do you remember the episode that I'm talking about, Robert? Because I know, Christopher, you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So I'm not going to spoil anything who knows why somebody might not want to know, but they do this arc. The kid he has a different name. And let's just say it's much darker than what we see here in the 87 cartoon.
Oh, I almost forgot what happened. For a
Yeah,
second. Now I remember.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it turns out much, much differently than this went for old Zach. Timothy does not fare as well. So.
Oh, damn, that sounds tight.
I think you would appreciate it specifically, Christopher, because of what ends up happening. That's all I had.
Okay.
So, any last words, guys?
No, I don't think so. I'm good.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in this week. So next week we're gonna have looks like episode 11, Camera Bugged. So see you then.